Sometimes the terms used in painting can be very complicated, especially for the beginners. Hello, my name is Montubor, your host, and I hope you're doing good. In this video, I will discuss about the terms and words that we painters use in our painting videos, which can be very complicated at times, so that you can understand and grasp the language that we painters speak. But first, the basics. First of all, the canvas roll. This canvas roll is 91 centimeter into 5 meters tall, and this is what it looks like. Brushes to paint with. There are different types of brushes of various forms, shapes and sizes, of which I'm going to show you some few which are very significant. This is a fan brush. It is called fan because of the shape that it acquires. You can see it looks like a fan. And these are bristle brushes. They are comparatively hard. They are made of hog hairs. It is much more rough in structure. These are flat brushes. The top is flat. These are daggered brushes. It looks like a dagger and it has an angle to it. As you can see, it has been cut slanted. And these are round brushes. You can see it is round. And I have my own modified brushes. I have modified these brushes by cutting its tip off so that I can give some special effects in the leaves as I desire. As I said, there are lots of different kinds of brushes and I have plenty of them right here. Colors. Now these are acrylic colors. The colors can be seen on the surface of the tube itself. This is cadmium yellow. These are some of the basic colors which I use in my painting. Now this is cadmium yellow. This color is magenta, ultramarine blue. This is cadmium red. This is burnt umber. Last but not least, this is titanium white. And other accessories like pen, pencil, rubber, ruler, and this is palette knife. With this I can apply massive amount of paints and also scrape it off. The subject of my painting is one of the most iconic villains in the history of pop culture, and the greatest living actor, Joaquin Phoenix. This is the printout of the subject. Now as you can see these lines that are there in the picture, these lines are the grid lines. Grid lines help me to align the subject in place and helps me to transfer the same to the canvas. I have sized the canvas according to my need and have pasted it on the plywood. I've also drawn the grid lines. These are the grid lines. Now these grid lines have been transferred from the reference picture right here, and I have drawn them in proportion and in ratio exactly to the reference picture that I have taken before. As I have fragmented the sample picture into small squares according to my need, all I need to do is to concentrate one box at a time to draw and put in position the shapes of the picture. So take all the time you need to complete one box at a time until you finish the whole set. As I am doing right now, do check for the key elements to set each shape in place.
Here I'm mixing the colors to get the desired skin tone of the sample picture. The colors you see here are flesh tint, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and titanium white. I mix the colors and compare them simultaneously to the colors of the sample picture by placing them side by side. I continue mixing until I get the desired tone and saturation. Once I am satisfied with the tone and saturation, I start laying my colors in the canvas. Speaking of saturation and tone, saturation is the amount of pigment that it contains. For example, if we compare these two pictures, then the right picture has more saturation than the left picture. In other words, the right picture has more color than the left picture. It is very important to check saturation while painting. For this, we need to know the color wheel. This picture here represents the color wheel. When we mix the opposite ends of color from the color wheel, the colors cancel each other out and we get a gray shade. For red being green, blue being orange, and yellow being purple. By mixing its opposite part, we can control the saturation of a pigment. The other term that we painters use is the value. It is the amount of darkness that it contains with respect to the whole painting of which it is a part. Consider these colors of gray shade. Here every part is gray, but each has its own value. So we need to check the grayness of each specific part in a painting to the other parts within the painting as a comparison, as to know how much dark or light its value is. Let's talk about the subject. I fell in love with the movie as soon as I saw the trailer. It moved me to the point where I had to paint Joaquin Phoenix in the canvas, especially the scene where he said, "All I have are negative thoughts." And yes, I've watched the movie twice and it was insane. I had options where I could paint Joaquin Phoenix as Joker with the full makeup, but this scene gave me goosebumps in the first sight. And I cannot forget, and I quote, "You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts." Unquote. I hope you have learned something from my video. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a like, and if you would like to see more of my content, then consider subscribing. Until then, get creative.